Hey everyone, if you tuned in for the Horror Awards, you can now get commemorative merch. We've got a really cool t-shirt this year that's kind of a riff on the American Idiot album cover. It's super cute. And a pin that's shaped like the trophy we send to all of our award winners, the infamous prime rib. Get them all you can at deadmeatstore.com.
What do you think?
I think we're dead meat. Real dead meat.
Go ahead and laugh, you guys. If I ever find a little bastards that did this, they're dead meat.
Welcome to the Dead Meat Podcast, your horror safe haven. I'm Chelsea.
I'm James. We're married and we like to throw award ceremonies together.
Yes, we're joined by two very special guests today for this very special episode of the podcast, because we're going to be talking about our award show that we just watched.
Literally.
We're fresh
it just
out of
ended
this thing.
28 minutes ago. And a little debriefing of sorts with Zoran.
I now have a mustache voyage.
Yes.
That's what
Zoran's
we're going with.
first podcast appearance. He's got a mustache.
First time I'm on the podcast, and I'm growing this. This is the dad stash. If you don't know, I have a child imminently on the way.
No, yeah, it's
1 to 4 weeks. There's gonna be a baby Gavoyage.
Check your phone throughout the episode to make sure.
It was like a threat.
If I suddenly just look at my phone and run away, you'll know why.
Yeah.
And Chauncey.
Hi, I'm here.
Yeah.
Present.
You've been on the podcast twice before or just once with John Carpenter?
Twice.
And what was the other one?
Talk to Me.
Talk to Me. Nice. Hell yeah. And then you have your new show starting in 1 week from when we're filming this. This Sunday, for anyone listening, watching when this comes out, Production Tales from Hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for that. And it was so cool seeing that trailer in there.
Mm-hmm. The trailer was part of the award show, since both were produced by MK, who does amazing work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I call her the GOAT.
Yep.
Yes. Greatest of all time.
I'm still jealous that Production Tales from Hell has the best logo out of anything on the channel. It's just fucking
It has the
cool.
best value.
I mean,
out
it looks
of anything on the
amazing.
channel.
It's truly, it's so gorgeous, and I can't wait to see it.
Yes, for this episode of the podcast, the four of us are going to discuss the award show and the categories and the winners and the panelists and everything. We are 4 of the 13 people who voted on the winners. And
did you pick 13 on purpose because it's spooky?
I think it was like getting to be that number, and then I was like, well, that makes sense.
Just make it 13.
Yeah, 13 is a good. We had 6 nominees for each category, 13 panelists. It's all coming together.
Have Robert Englund come in and be like, I'd like to be on the panel. Sorry, 13.
Yep. Sorry, Rob.
Robert, get out of here,
Yeah.
please.
If you watch the award show, you'll have seen who the panelists were. They're all really awesome film critics and people who are very familiar with horror, including like Phil, who's the editor-in-chief of
Phil
Fangoria.
Nobile
Yeah.
Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So a lot of cool people there. And so, like we said in the show, in previous years, it was just Chelsea and I deciding the winners, but now it's out of our hands.
Yeah, so now you can't all be mad at just us,
Yeah.
okay? We're throwing everyone under the bus this year.
13 people.
Exactly.
Yes, 13 people are all coming under the bus with us
So
for these awards.
in this
Bus is gonna
discussion,
get
we won't say who, outside of us, we won't say who voted for what.
Yes, we will all have our votes revealed.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I thought we had lost my votes because I handed James a sheet of paper with my votes on it, and we could not find it, but he did
I found it.
today.
I
And
got
I
you.
honestly almost wish you didn't, because I could have played totally like I don't remember my vote, which I truly didn't.
Now you have to own 'em.
Rereading, there were somewhere I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I voted. Okay, yeah, I guess I voted for that. So I got to own my choices now. Yeah.
We'll also talk about other films that were in consideration for each category, but of course we will not be saying any films that we would have replaced with those, because that would be stupid to be like, this one was nominated, but maybe it shouldn't have been.
If we would have wanted to, we would have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. In these cases, it'll be like, it was real tough, and I wish that we had fit one of these or multiples of these somehow in the awards, but they just didn't make it for whatever reason. As I've said before countless times, award shows, and these are no exception, so subjective. between what gets nominated and especially the winner. It all depends on how you're feeling that day, really, when you're voting. Some of these are so close and are good in such unique ways that it's really hard to compare them head to head. So to say, like, what's better, Skinamarink or Megan? And it's like, they're two entirely different fucking movies. So really just take it all with a grain of salt. It's just, I think for me, it's less important what wins and more important that we get to have those sequences in the show that show off everyone's work in them. That's what I think is the reward for these, is like, oh, we selected you for this category, and so we get to show the people who worked on these effects or on these stunts and everything.
If anything, it's kind of annoying to get one of our very heavy trophies in the mail.
We made them lighter this year.
We did attempt to make them lighter this year.
They now have a wood base
shit,
instead of a plaster base. Last year, the prime rib trophy. Do we have one on set here or no? It's probably down the hall.
It's in our box of like convention stuff.
You can murder someone with those.
Oh,
yeah.
You can just really crack into someone's
We
head with
literally
one of those
have
awards.
used it at conventions to weigh down like tablecloths
Yeah.
and other things that we don't want
Much like
falling
the
off the
award
table.
recipients are using them as paperweights.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thanks, Orange.
When they go to conventions.
Exactly.
So the first award is one that we've had since the beginning, Best Stunts and Choreography. And the nominees were Scream 6, Renfield, Evil Dead Rise, Megan, Sick, and the Meg 2, The Trench. Other suggestions for this category that other people said, When Evil Lurks was suggested.
Of course it was.
Of course it was.
I mean, yeah,
Our
especially...
panel loved When Evil Lurks.
I love When Evil Lurks.
I did too, yeah.
Yeah.
And
My
especially
faves.
when there's stunts and there's a kid involved, that adds a whole other layer of difficulty that I respect a lot.
Talk to Me was suggested a number of times because, you know, that they had like Joe Bird slamming his head around and everything.
Oh,
there.
yeah, it's pretty gruesome.
Because, yeah, we asked the panel for suggestions for all these categories, and then I kind of like, I didn't just go with the top most suggested. We took those into consideration while Chelsea and I chose the nominees, which was just our picks. But, yeah, those two had a lot of suggestions. Any that you guys thought might have fit in that weren't in there?
Oh, I got to pull out my other email then because I like.
Oh, the suggestions one. Yeah.
Now I got to search for it.
Yeah, this one, all the movies got votes for this, I believe, and the one that ended up winning was Renfield by a pretty good amount. It was solid.
Yeah.
I really liked Renfield's stunts. We saw that early in the year in a theater, and I remember watching it and being like, oh, best stunts, probably. Because we were still in award mode at the time from last year's show. So we were watching these new movies that were coming out and I was just thinking about what categories they might fit in.
I remember walking to the car and thinking, like, yeah, that's probably going to be a best stunts.
There's just so many action scenes in it. I really liked Evil Dead Rise's use of like wires and people flying all around. And obviously something like Meg 2 has phenomenal action sequences and fighting sequences.
Yeah. Do you think next year for a presenter we could get Jason Statham?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Obviously, it would be awesome. We could see.
Beekeeper was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we still need to see Beekeeper. Yeah. Once
now that the awards are, we can like
we
watch.
just got to finish the Oscar movies.
Yeah,
we have a
watch
few more of
the
those to
Oscar
watch, and then we'll
movies,
watch Beekeeper. Yeah. Zorn, you were looking at your phone?
Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay.
After all of that, I could not find
Yeah,
the
I
other
don't-
things that I suggested.
Yeah, I can't think of any suggestions I would have had, but I mean, I do have who I voted for.
Oh, yeah. Who'd you vote for?
I voted for Megan.
Okay.
I
Because it's like,
think-
or choreography as
Yeah,
well.
I'm kind of a sucker for anything with choreography or dance in it as someone with a dance background. I saw myself in this, you know, like all the footage of the little girl rehearsing, and I don't know, it spoke to me, so I voted for it.
What'd you guys vote for?
Oh, I got Renfield.
Nice. Zoran.
You gotta tell me. I don't remember what I voted for.
Oh,
in this
really?
one.
Okay.
My list.
Zoran voted for Evil Dead Rise.
Ooh,
I did. I
okay.
mean, flipping around, fly like her up. The rat creature was all like a practical.
Oh, the
stunt.
Marauder?
What was it called?
The Marauder?
Yeah, that thing. I was just like, and I wanted to give some love to Evil Dead Rise because I may not have given it as much love in the later.
That's the thing
categories.
is-
Whereas part of it, and again, when you make these decisions, it's really difficult because Megan was up there, Renfield was up there because like in definition of stunts,
Yeah.
like that is action set, like because there was so much more action, and they were all just I loved seeing those.
Yeah.
But I don't know what I was talking about. So
No, it's so true. Like I could give me this sheet of paper 20 minutes later and my answers are different.
Yeah.
It's-
And yeah, you're right. There is some consideration of like, well, I know I'm going to vote for this in this other category. So, and I really like this. So I'll do it for this category because you don't want to just vote for the same thing over and over
Right.
sometimes.
And that's where my friend Best put sometimes, like the Academy Awards are sometimes not like the best of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's an industry award in a way that it's like best actors, and it's like, you're the best sister, you're the best brother. It's like, we want to honor you as like, because there's movies that people should have won for, but then they win like the next year as kind
Yes.
of like, we feel bad about that. We just want you to know we love you.
Exactly.
And that's
That
it.
happens
and we
a
want
lot.
to give that, credit where the person is, whether it's, there's so much competition.
We want them
this
to
year.
have one of these, even if it's not for the thing that they maybe most deserved it
Exactly.
for. Yeah.
Y'all are being so diplomatic. Like I appreciate that. I mean, because when I vote in different award thing, I'm like this one, and if it doesn't win, I'm throwing shade. Like I'm just like very direct. Like this should win, and you guys don't have taste if it doesn't.
Well, I'm glad that you said most of your picks for this one,
that's
right?
what I said. I told you when we were starting. I'm like, I might throw a little shade if some of my stuff doesn't win. But that's just like, I think as a film critic, like you just
Sure.
get used to
Yeah.
being critical.
It's so weird. Like these awards are when I turn into like the person that like this stereotypical boomer hates, where I'm like, everyone should get a prize and everyone did good. But when it comes to like, yeah, exactly. But when it comes to like Oscars, I have fucking opinions and I'm a
Yes.
bitch about it. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm a softie for horror movies.
I did
guess.
vote Renfield for best stunts or choreography, so yeah. So best digital effects, the nominees were Godzilla -1, Last Voyage of the Demeter, Megan, Meg 2, No One Will Save You, and The Pope's Exorcist. Godzilla -1 got 12 of the 13 votes.
I'm dying. Can we say what the rogue vote was without outing this person?
Yes, yeah. I don't even remember
Is it
who did
was
the
it
rogue
for the
vote.
funniest option, the Pope's Exorcist?
No, but that'd be so fucking funny. It was for Meg 2, The Trench.
Okay,
mean,
sure.
The Meg movies have
It's
great
another
effects,
big
yeah.
creature. The last act of that movie, especially.
Fun
Yes,
Island.
Fun Island is the
Fun
most fun part
Island.
of that movie.
That whole movie should have been at Fun Island because
I-
it delivered on the name.
I
Fun
saw that
Island.
movie at a test screening, unfinished effects and everything.
Oh, wow.
And we were in the front row. That was the only place available in the test screening. So I watched that whole movie with, again, no one has anything on their helmets in that movie. They're all just there walking through green screens and all of that. And I'm watching like, okay, all right, fine. And then the sign for Fun Island came. I'm like, yes, this is what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Promised Land. Yeah. So we
Yeah.
all voted for Godzilla -1 then.
Yes, none of us were the one who voted for Meg. And I wanted so bad for everyone to do it. And I think it was like the last person who sent in their votes was like, oh, and Meg 2 for digital effects. And I was like, no, I wanted to be able to say this next winner won unanimously. No disrespect to any of the other categories,
No,
because
not at all.
especially No One Will Save You, I think had very impressive
Yes.
aliens.
Yes.
But like Godzilla, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's a Godzilla movie, and it's so well done. Because not all Godzilla movies I have loved, but this one,
Yeah.
was really good.
He's got like fupa physics in this one. He's got like a little fupa.
Well, they play the theme every time that he comes on screen, and so I watched it with my wife Megan, and now she's pregnant, and I was like, oh, I'll get in so much trouble if I played that theme as she's coming down the stairs, like with her hands. Let's go. Bwah, 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 bum, bum, bum. She laughed at that, luckily.
Yes.
I kept thinking Samoa Joe was gonna show up, man. It
Yeah.
was like- yeah, I don't know what else to say about that category. I mean,
that was it. We were all just
that
like,
was
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
It was great
That
to
was one
see
good
all the
looking
other, like the
dinosaur.
work that went into the other ones. But boy, Godzilla definitely swept that one up in a hurry.
Yep.
Best. Oh wait, what were some of the other suggestions from people? Let me see.
Oh, for digital?
Yeah, because I think let's see. Cocaine Bear, which like I don't know if we
you know what?
considered that
I didn't see Cocaine
in
Bear.
consideration. Yeah.
I'm like that person. You know how they sometimes interview the anonymous Oscar voters and they're like, I didn't see this movie, so I voted for this one. You're like, fuck. Yeah. So many,
Yeah.
I mean, there's
we can't watch them all.
Yeah.
We
Well,
do our best.
Yeah, at least watch the ones that are in the category. Although I'll be honest, I didn't watch Pope's Exorcist.
You're
Just
missing
because
out. You're
I
missing
knew-
out. I love that.
Well,
Oh,
movie.
nice. Those effects were great.
Yes.
At the end, yeah.
I got a Russell Crowe thing. It's just not.
Oh, Chelsea does too, but probably in a
It's the
different way.
opposite
Yeah, it's the
way.
opposite. This we're sitting together. It's
Cobweb was suggested a few times, which we disagreed with.
Yeah.
As far as best digital
moving
effects.
on.
Cobweb I liked, and I wish it could have.
I liked it until it got digital effects.
Yeah, that's the thing. I really liked the first like 2/3 of it. I wish it could have been nominated for something. We did include it in the montage, but there were some of the movies that didn't get nominated for anything, which feel weird, are like Cobweb because it was pretty popular when it came out. But personal favorites, like we've mentioned before on this podcast, Unwelcome and Totally Killer.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
we did
Totally
a whole
Killer.
podcast episode about Unwelcome because we love it so much.
And then Infinity Pool.
Yeah.
Didn't get any nominee. Oh, you didn't like it? Oh, yeah, I think we discussed that a little bit. But I liked it a lot. I thought it was fucked up
like
in a cool way.
cool.
Yeah, I like Cronenberg.
I love him too, but I was
Yeah.
not this one.
Beau's Afraid.
Beau's Afraid, full disclosure. It was debatable whether it was horror or
And
not.
like, we love Beau's. Chauncey
Loved
also
it.
loves it.
Yes.
We were talking about it
Oh my
before the
God.
Did you
awards
see it,
today.
Zorn?
I refuse to watch that.
Okay.
film.
Okay,
Why?
all right.
I
This
will
is-
not
This is
ever
when I was
watch
talking
that
about
movie.
Chauncey. When I was watching Beau's Afraid, I was like, I just feel like I can think of certain people I know who would fucking hate this, and you're absolutely
That's
one
right.
of
I'm
them.
absolutely. It's got things going against it. The director, he has good stuff. I wasn't a huge fan of Midsommar beforehand. I liked Hereditary a lot. I didn't like the last one as much, but I'm like, okay. And then I do not like Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh,
really?
And then
Interesting.
you show the run times like 3 hours
Yeah.
or something like that. I do not like long
Flies
movies.
by. Love
What?
it. Except for that middle part in the
Those
theater.
are experiences.
Well,
like
okay.
the longer the
It is
movie.
an epic journey. It is
Yes.
Odysseus. and
An epic through a very paranoid Joaquin
But
Phoenix's
Chelsea and I even
mind.
disagreed on whether it was horror. I thought it was. Chelsea said no.
I said,
There's a giant that's like evil.
it's
oh,
not
can
like
I
a
say
giant
that?
evil
That's such
monster.
a spoiler, Chauncey.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a giant evil. Oh man,
Maybe
I'm missing
that'll
out.
encourage people.
Just
like,
bleep that, editor or Chelsea.
Yeah,
just like
giant
bleep.
evil.
There's a bleep. And then when
Oh,
Zoe
you mean
repeats
the giant? You can bleep the nothing that I said.
So ultimately, we decided, and this is a cop out.
It is.
We decided not to include it simply because it would have dominated so many of these categories.
Yeah.
If not winning them, it would have taken up a spot in so
For
many of them.
something that was much more obviously a horror movie.
Yeah. So like it was such on the cusp of horror. I didn't want this like maybe not horror movie nominated for like every category, like the acting and best original
And, like,
and
production
like
design.
everything.
Yeah,
Well, production design is an award we are 100% introducing for next year.
Oh yeah, I keep
Oh,
forgetting
yeah.
that is an award that exists because I want it so bad.
Exactly. Yeah. We wanted to do music this year.
Okay.
Best score.
Yeah.
We even were talking about. I even asked for suggestions for it. But when it came down to it, it's really hard for me to remember, especially from movies I watched months ago, what the score was. And so to like look at a list and be like, oh yeah, that score was great. That score, like I can't do that, and it felt unfair. And then also there's a difficulty in talking about and especially showing the clips on YouTube where audio will get auto flagged right away with copyright claims. So we decided against doing it, but definitely production design for next year. Because there's already, I mean, we already saw Lisa Frankenstein, like great production design, you know?
Yeah.
But
you just play all the scores on your sax.
yeah, I'll just
I
recreate
think
them
that
all.
just recreate
Still,
all
the
scores.
arrangements are still copyrighted.
Oh.
Create
Ah.
them and like what's the Mario game where you can do music?
Oh, yeah, that's
Mario
right.
Music Maker, whatever
Something
you can
like
do
that.
on that.
But yes,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was the situation with Beau is Afraid. We loved it. We decided not to include it as a horror film, kind of for selfish purposes. And I'm sorry, but that's, I mean,
just
there's
made
some other
things
shit
easier.
too that like, yeah,
If you
we
want
did
to
because
force
it made it
me to
easier.
watch Beau is Afraid, I'll come back on the podcast and just explain my experience watching Beau is Afraid alone in a room.
that would be interesting because, like, especially if you were like totally against it. Because I actually didn't like Midsummer like that,
Oh, okay.
and I was telling Chelsea like I gave him a third shot because after the first two, I was like, you know. So.
Oh, okay. Wow. Best practical effects. This was a kind of a loaded category, as to be expected. It had Five Nights at Freddy's, Last Voyage of the Demeter, Megan, Saw X, Thanksgiving, and When Evil Lurks. So this begins the When Evil sweeps.
When Evil sweeps.
Yep.
Five Nights at Freddy's. People like Five Nights at Freddy's, right? People want Five Nights
The
at Freddy's.
chat
Listen,
was.
The chat went insane.
I will say this is the one where I was so torn. I did vote When Evil Lurks, but I was
You
so
did? Okay.
torn I almost voted for Five Nights at Freddy's. I love those fucking costumes.
They are
I love
amazing.
the puppetry and like I love that so
I would not have
much.
been upset with Five Nights winning because
Yeah.
those animatronics are
I
full
voted
on.
for that.
Yeah.
For Five Nights?
I voted for Five Nights.
I don't
pretty
believe
sure.
you did.
This
sir.
is a category where
Nope. I'm going to call you out as a liar. I have your list right here. You voted for Megan.
Oh, no!
Not even the two. Wow.
Oh.
Wow. Exposed.
Human memory
Yep.
is faulty.
I personally voted for Saw.
Okay.
Okay,
I
yeah.
love the realism of those body
Yeah.
parts, of which there were many.
the
Yeah.
gross leg. The
And
leg
the
is so
viscera, that now we have a rope. Like all that stuff was just so good.
Yeah.
I love Saw. I don't think our panel much loved Saw.
No, James and I love Saw too much compared to everyone else.
During the give us suggestions phases, I noticed that very few people were suggesting Saw for anything, including practical effects, and I was like, oh no, Saw is not gonna do well.
I definitely suggested it for at least later things as well. But
Yes.
rewatching it on the thing and just seeing
Yeah.
that fake leg
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
fall, and I'm just
So-
like, it's viscerally just watching that is.
Yeah.
But yes, When Evil Lurks took it home. That's what you voted for?
Yes.
Right,
I
Chauncey?
think for me, like, I liked Five Nights at Freddy's, and the practical effects of the animatronics was really cool, but there was something about When Evil Lurks that just had a variety of practical effects. And when you find out what happened, like the puppet big guy thing
Yeah.
and like some of the blood and all of that, there was just such a variety that I was just like, there's so many things going on here that are just really awesome.
I mean, you got the popcorn bucket head.
yeah.
Who was the interview with in this category? Because I love the way he says puppet.
Puppet. Yeah, I think it was Damien
It's
Rugna.
Puppet.
Yeah.
Rugna.
I'm putting that in. I'm putting that clip in now because I love the way he says it so fucking much.
A lot of work to make the puppets, make two realistic puppets.
It's so warm and comforting. I don't know.
Other suggestions that were made to us, Renfield, which when watching, I did note Nick Cage's makeup is incredible.
It's really good.
Yeah.
So much of that movie has great practical effects.
Especially with like him coming back from being like basically dead.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I think
yeah.
that they went overboard with the CG blood, and that kind
that the
of
CG
tainted
blood
it for me.
really was rough for me.
But its practical effects were great. Sarah got a couple of suggestions. Other
I could also have seen Huesera for digital, especially the weird like faceless kind of
oh yeah,
people is freaky.
Talk to
Although
me-
that might actually be practical. Now I think about it.
yeah. I'm not sure.
Because I know when we did that on the podcast, I kind of looked into like, because I know they hired dancers to be those kind of creatures, and I forget if like to give them the featureless faces it was digital or if it was like literally a mask they all had on. It's cool.
Talk to Me had a couple of votes. I'm assuming for like the makeup on Joe Bird and that kind of stuff.
And the spirits they channel that you
Yeah,
see
like
very
Oh, yeah,
briefly.
yeah. All
Yeah,
those.
where you can
Yeah.
kind
The
of
drown
tell
look
the
and
different
everything, yeah.
ways that they've died. Yeah.
And Zorn suggested Onyx the Fortuitous, which
Yes!
also
Which has amazing
had a lot of
It
really good
does.
practical effects.
Yes.
Great puppets.
That is another
Did you
movie.
see
I didn't see that one.
No,
Yeah.
it was a very indie comedy horror. It's kind of like a Pee-wee or Ernest
This is
type
another
film.
movie in that category of like unwelcome and stuff where I'm like, I love it so fucking
Dude,
much.
actually, I'm just now realizing I don't think it was in the montage. We
Onyx
forgot to.
wasn't.
Fuck. Oh no.
Well,
it was
'cause-
not present at our show at all. I'm so sorry.
It's,
Oh, that sucks. I'm so sorry. Because
I love it.
We loved it a lot.
Yeah.
We'll have to do something for it on the channel.
I wonder if like, because I know it is like, yes, it's a horror movie, but I wonder if we've maybe mentally compartmentalized it as like a very sweet, funny movie, and it just didn't even cross our minds that like, no, it should be in the horror montage.
Yeah.
Because it is like a cute, funny.
But like it's got Barbara Crampton and Jeffrey
Oh,
Combs
yeah.
in it.
Okay.
Like, yeah, and just lots of great people. Great cast.
No, I definitely should. That was an oversight on our part.
Yeah,
I
fair.
mean, to be fair to Onyx, there
Andrew
were
Bowser, yeah.
there were a few movies last minute where we were like, oh my god, that's not in the montage, like Infinity Pool.
Yeah.
I forget When Evil Lurks, we forgot to put in the montage.
And literally like 3
So
days
it's
ago,
not-
I was
Wow.
lying in bed and I was like, Infinity Pool's not in the montage. And I
Yep.
like get on the computer, I'm like, Mike, you have to put a clip of Infinity Pool
So
in
like,
there.
listen, it's not specifically Onyx that was forgotten. Our dumbasses were forgetting movies
Also, this
left
is
to right,
the first time that we're doing the awards show with weekly kill counts coming out.
Yes.
And it is so hard
We're
keep up with the
yes.
kill counts while also doing awards, while also doing They Talk, while also doing Production Tales from
that was
Hell.
happening.
All the things happening at the same time.
It was so stacked on top of each other. I'm so glad it's over because, like, Production Tales is done. They're getting uploaded. They're ready to go. They Talk. It's all out except for the last episode, which will come
will
out
happen
at some point.
after the baby.
The awards are out. Like,
Yeah.
we're like, okay,
We're
now we
planning-
can just do kill counts.
We're also in the middle of planning Demi podcast live shows.
We got live shows and convention appearances coming up, but at least now, from a production standpoint, we can just focus on kill counts because they're enough work on their own for a whole staff of people. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Anyway, go watch Onyx with Fortuitous. I'm fucking loved that movie.
Yeah.
It's the cutest little thing.
Best kill, we had Thanksgiving's turkey. The bite of 23
Bite
from
of
5
23.
Nights. Trish's face melting in Kids
The
vs.
Slime
Aliens.
Throne.
Yeah, the
Saw X, Valentina. Yep.
and the smashing from Suitable Flesh.
That's
and,
the most on-brand Joe Lynch thing I've ever heard. Like, watching that interview, I was like, yeah. Yep.
and then the child getting assaulted by a dog in When Evil Lurks, which
Winner,
won
winner.
by a hefty margin.
Yeah. I voted for it.
I voted
I
for it.
voted
If
for
you're,
that.
if
Did
you're,
you vote for it?
No.
Oh!
You were one of the 4 people who did not. What'd you say?
Well, I think for me, I don't. You can't really say you enjoyed it, right? It's like one of those things where, like, it was like that was intense, and and I kind of felt like it was about to happen. I just didn't realize how graphic it was going to be.
Yeah, you kind of see it coming. But
And I think what it was, I guess it was the whole thing where I don't know. At that moment, I was just like, can I vote for the kid being mauled?
Sure.
Like I was like, I don't know. Like that just doesn't feel like best. Like it was so shocking. I think that was the thing that was so shocking.
yeah, like what's the criteria for best kill?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
That's everyone's. Because for me, when we watched this movie, I jumped off the fucking couch and went, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
And so I think that alone, just that reaction, I'm like, "All right, I gotta vote for it because it just
moved you so much.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said Thanksgiving.
Yes.
yeah, that's also
So
a very
both
good
those
one.
movies had multiple kills that could have been in here. When Evil Lurks, a lot of people said the axe to the
The
head.
axe was the other one that I thought you'd actually...
Or the popcorn bucket.
Yeah.
That
Oh
one I
my
fucking love. The
gosh.
way that fucking puppet
Yeah.
is just swinging through the streets while she's carrying him. It's disgusting. But this one I felt was the most viscerally affecting. Thanksgiving had other great ones. A lot of people said the buzzsaw for Yulia.
Yeah.
And then
the thing going through his head.
Yeah,
in
the-
that
at the
parade.
parade.
Like,
Yes,
the practical,
It's disgusting.
And even the turkey getting his head cut off, some people said. But I felt that the person being turned into a Thanksgiving turkey was
Yeah.
the most thematic.
It's-
that
Because
was that's
And it's got the punchline.
Yeah, and
which
after
I
a
love.
great chase scene,
I do
too.
like a kill with the punchline where
Yeah.
the little temperature thing. The
Oh,
little
yeah, the
pops.
gauge pops, yeah.
Like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just the aftermath of seeing it on the table. Like, it's not just the kill itself;
Mm-hmm.
it's the aftermath of this is
Yeah.
what you were. This is the centerpiece of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
I
stuffed lady.
I just love, and who knows, maybe I'll completely change my mind on this if we have children, but I love the taboo of killing kids in horror movies. It's something that I'm always like excited by because I just think it's one of those things that, like you said, it's like, is it wrong?
Yeah.
Even though it's not real. There's still something so primal about it where you're like, ooh, I don't know if that's okay to even portray. So I just respect it when people go for it,
and the way he went for it, it was just like extended.
Framed well with that first, just boom, it
Yep,
happened.
and that kind of pans away.
That's
yeah.
the thing is like it's so realistic.
It's
Yeah.
so
That's what
realistic.
fucks me up.
and-
Smashing was a funny kill. That's why it was nominated. The Valentina and Saw X was just a whole
just so
bunch of layers of awesome
gross.
stuff. Kids versus Aliens. I'm glad I remembered this kill.
Yeah.
Because we had a ton of options for this category, and I was like, wait a minute. I think I looked at my old logs because I watched this movie like a year ago now.
Yeah.
And I had written Trish for best kill. And I was like, wait, let me double check what that kill was. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, this kill rules, dude. Just her getting, and it makes sense because it's Jason Eisner.
That
who makes
face
some nasty
prosthetic she had on reminded me of my Ice Nine Kills face prosthetic.
Oh, yeah, because you also got
It's
your
a
skin
similar
melted.
thing because my face melted off and like, yep, the about 6 hours, you like that all tracks.
I know lots of the audience wanted FNAF to win again. It was a good kill for a PG-13
It's a good,
movie.
yes.
It was.
That's
and
why it was
done in silhouette
nominated.
and-
Yeah, it was good.
I didn't realize there was that many like people who were just like 5 nights over everything.
Chauncey.
5 nights or
you
go
know,
home.
Chauncey.
And I'm like
Chauncey.
looking at the chat. I'm like, why is everyone for this?
Google search Five Nights at Freddy's.
I was so
The
thrown off. I
children
was like,
love
really?
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes, absolutely.
No shade to y'all. I mean, that's, you know.
Other suggestions? I think the biggest one that I saw fans wonder why it wasn't nominated was the ladder kill and Scream.
Oh, yeah.
Annika, great kill.
Yeah.
You know, I think for me personally, the fact that we see her get like kind of opened up and gutted, but then she's running around and climbing a ladder just takes a little off of it for me. I'm like, wait, what?
That's kind of
How
where
are
I'm
you
at
using
too.
your core
Yeah.
strength at
yeah,
that point?
yeah. It's a great kill. The fall from the ladder is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
The stunt is great.
Yeah.
I
And-
think the scene overall is more. It's the tension of it more
Yeah.
so than the
Than the
kill.
kill.
Itself.
That's true.
Which
Yeah.
the kill is good, but it's like the tension of that scene is what's really.
That's true. The lead
really
up
good.
to
the
that
lead up to the kill.
is what's good.
there some people said Wrath of Becky. There was like
Yes.
some violent stuff in there.
There's one where he gets a bear trap on his head.
Okay.
And then another guy whose head explodes.
Cool.
That is
with a
actually-
grenade, right?
Yeah, with a
We
grenade.
unfortunately did not
that-
see that.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to see that. So, and then some people said the clone execution in Infinity Pool, which is it's disturbing for sure.
Yeah.
but didn't make it.
Hey, I want to talk about our sponsor this week, Fume. Ever tried to break a bad habit and felt like you're making no progress? Our sponsor, Fume, looks at bad habits in a different way. It's not about giving up, it's about switching up. Fume takes your habit and simply makes it better, healthier, and a whole lot more enjoyable. Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavored air device. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses delicious flavors. Your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial and is designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, which is helpful for de-stressing while you're trying to break your habit. I've got mine right here, and you can hear how kind of clicky and nice this is. I like spinning it around in here. I wasn't sure what to expect when I first got one of these, but Fume's flavor cores feel super light and refreshing. Right now I've got the sparkling grapefruit flavor in my Fume, and it's a nice effervescent flavor that feels right for the warm weather we've got coming up. And Fume also just released a magnetic stand for your Fume. No more losing it around the house because your cat likes to play with it. Thanks, Lucy. The stand is also built with fidgeting in mind. You can spin your Fume around on it, which is pretty fun. Right now is the best time to start the good habit with Fume. Go to tryfume.com/deadmeat and get the journey pack today. Fume is giving listeners of the show 10% off when they use my code DEADMEAT to help make starting the good habit that much easier. That's tryfume, tryfum.com/deadmeat. Do you ever keep yourself up at night reading real-life scary stories that make your skin crawl? Tales of true crime or histories of the macabre? If you've ever wondered, what exactly is necrocannibalism, played with a Ouija board, or even wished that we here on Dead Meat covered more real-life creepy stuff and not just movies, then 30 Morbid Minutes is the new podcast for you. 30 Morbid Minutes is a journey through the creepy, gruesome, and unexplained, hosted by friends, comedians, and known weirdos Elise Willems and Jessica Vasami. 30 Morbid Minutes takes you inside cruise ship morgues and behind the scenes at body farms, back in time to Victorian England's obsession with death, and down a rabbit hole of alien conspiracy theories and celebrity death hoaxes. Subscribe to 30 Morbid Minutes now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Best villain. The options were Megan. Megan Eden from Children of the Corn, Ellie as a Deadite from Evil Dead Rise, CW from Influencer, The Entity from Skinamarink, and John Carver from Thanksgiving. Here's one where I'm immediately like, fuck. Cecilia from Saw X should have been nominated. She, I feel like I dropped the ball not having her because she is so awesome, such a well-acted character, despicable, great foil for John Kramer in that film, and I just feel bad that for whatever reason it didn't cross my mind. And then there was another.
I think it in like maybe on another day we would have nominated William Afton just because.
Here's the thing, because
I mean,
yes, the fans.
First of all, it's Matthew Lillard.
Yes.
He's fucking great,
Yes,
and who
he's
like
great.
loves that role.
He's
genuinely
excellent performance. For me, as a non-FNAF fan watching that movie, he wasn't in it enough. I think a lot of FNAF fans are bringing their knowledge of the character and his
very
deeds
true
to this.
If you're watching it and you don't know as much about the lore and who that guy is, he's not in it. Which, granted, the obvious argument is like, well, there's lots of horror villains that don't have tons of screen time, right? But I think what makes him so good and why people like that villain so much is all of the backstory that you maybe don't get in the movie.
Like he when he shows up, he's awesome, but it's at the very end. Aside from his like duplicitous appearance earlier on, Steve Raglan.
Yeah.
But great performance. I loved it. But like, I'm hoping in the sequel he'll be more of a presence and then could maybe
will
be
he
nominated.
be in the sequel?
Yeah, he always comes back. That's what he says. But yes,
I should know better. What the fuck? But the bad guy's dead. He can't come back.
No, the franchise is over. They're not going to make another Five Nights at
Never.
Freddy's. It's done.
Oh, the other one who I felt should have been in there was probably Nick Cage's Dracula.
Yeah.
He's
He's the best part of the movie.
Yes,
so
he
good
is.
in it.
He's so good.
I was surprised by that one, and I probably didn't even suggest it either, so I was
Yeah.
surprised
I
I
know.
didn't suggest it.
That man has wanted to be Dracula for
He
so
did
long.
real good.
And he did,
I loved when they put him in the old Dracula as well.
Yeah.
Yes,
Everything.
yeah,
I love
so
seeing
good.
him do all the...
And even like in a
Other stuff.
lighter year, like Dracula from Last Voyage could have been in there.
Yeah.
He's a good little bad guy
I love
flying
Javier
around.
Botet. I'm such a fan of Javier Botet.
Benson from The Passenger,
Yeah.
fucking phenomenal.
Oh,
But we were
yeah.
like, okay, we're gonna give him Best Supporting as a nod, so
Yeah.
maybe not for villain.
Who do we all vote for? I'm curious.
Hold on, there's so many more that.
like
'cause-
suggestions?
Yeah, because
Best
Godzilla, a lot of people were upset.
Sure.
Godzilla, but like,
Godzilla's misunderstood.
He's not a villain.
yeah, it feels more like a force of nature.
Yes.
He's
yeah.
also a force for good in terms of like the natural world.
right.
Yeah.
He's just trying to live his life and like,
Raise his kid.
right.
And the
yes,
bad government
yes.
is just,
And and we're like, let's give him
Nuclear
a giant
testing.
inner tube and murder him. What has he done to deserve that?
Mia Goth in Infinity Pool was
Okay.
suggested.
James.
And of course, a lot of suggestions from our panelists for The Rotten from When Evil Lurks, but we were like, it's more of a concept. It's
Yeah.
more of a
That's-
plague,
yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
getting nominated in enough other stuff that we decided to go for other.
It's
any
like
other?
how I think it was maybe was it Turner Classic Movie or something? Some prestigious kind of entertainment institution did a list of the top, I think, 250 villains in cinematic history, and one of them was just Man from Bambi. Fuck off. You know what I mean? Like that's such conceptual fucking bullshit.
Any
Shut
other
up.
suggestions? That
I
you
had
guys
The
had?
Nun.
The Nun. Okay,
I had
yeah.
Valak.
It's always...
I had
We love The
Valak.
Nun. I will be so like 100% honest and just I'll put it out there. It does get harder when we know a lot of these people.
Yeah,
And
especially
it's-
when we're like
Yeah.
closer, like with Bonnie.
Bonnie is like a very close friend at this point, which back at the beginning of the Dead Meat podcast would have blown my mind. But Bonnie
It
is
gets hard,
someone
man.
who's like, I text her all the time. She's very close. She's always over at our house. I love her. So it's like hard,
Like Johnny from The Passenger, maybe he would have been nominated if we weren't like good friends with it. Because the
Yeah.
performance is so good, but we were like,
we start getting self-conscious of like, are people going to be like, oh, they're just nominating their friend? It's weird. And like,
Johnny,
I guess,
your reward is our friendship.
and that, it's a weird thing where, as we get further into doing stuff with Dead Meat, I don't know.
That's why we had to do the panel, because it was like, this is getting too hard for
Yeah, the panel is a way to kind of...
But yes, what did you guys vote?
Well, I just want to say, once again, that shows y'all integrity and diplomacy, because I'm just saying, like, I've participated in other award things, and it's just like, sometimes they get nominated because they want them to be there. So you guys, just, doing it this way, that's really, it shows. Like, you can't get mad at them. Like, they really wanted to be fair about this.
Well, thank you, Chauncey. What did you vote for best film?
Oh, I voted Megan.
I voted Megan as well.
I don't remember.
Oh, Zoran, you voted
What did
for
past Zoran do?
Ellie as a Deadite,
I did.
which
Fair.
was very popular in the chat. And here's what happened.
Yeah.
She tied with Megan.
Oh.
That was the one tie.
This
was
is
Ellie
the
and
thing
Megan.
this is the thing you can get mad at me and James for,
Yes.
because we had to tie break this.
And we decided Megan. Ellie is a phenomenal villain.
Yes.
But at that point, we knew that Alyssa was winning Best Supporting.
Yes.
And like, I love Megan. So, and that
Same.
character, I feel, is going to be remembered.
Yes.
Ellie
Oh,
will
yeah.
too. But like, Megan is like
Megan
shorthand.
as an icon, people dressing as her for Halloween before that
Yes.
fucking movie even came out. Like, she just kind of transcended that movie into broader pop culture.
Oh, yeah.
I think in 5 years, more of like the general populace is going to know and recognize Megan than Ellie as a Deadite.
And
Even
what-
though Ellie was
I
fucking
think
great.
another thing in Megan's favor too is the fact that I remember when the very first trailer, not even trailer, I think just when the like movie Megan was announced and the teaser poster, people were like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is gonna be so stupid. And it could be really stupid. A character like a Deadite, we know what a Deadite is. We already have an expectation of what that's gonna be, and it lives up to that expectation. But Megan was a totally new, weird thing that was kind of ballsy.
Yeah.
And the fact that they committed to how silly of a concept it is, and it worked, I think that makes her stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was camp, and I thought the way the plot went, her design, all of that worked. Because it's not like this is the first time we've ever seen a killer doll.
No.
Not even just speaking on Chucky, but
Yeah.
like just in general, even like a female killer doll. Like, it's been done before, but there was
Yeah.
something about her personality was
Yep.
just so unique, and it just really works for it.
Yeah.
You guys just keep talking. I got Molly over here. I'm doing great.
And also, Eden was nominated because, yes, the movie wasn't great, but she was great. She was a great villain, well performed, and I thought she was the best Child of the Corn since the original. So
I agree with you, James.
Thank you.
I
I got some flack for that nomination, but
that I was waiting. I was like, I gotta watch this. I don't think it's supposed to be a good movie.
not
And then
great.
I watched it just for her, and I'm like, no, she's solid. Like, she is a actual little girl channeling this evil.
yeah.
And,
And
it's such a
the
really
entity
good
in Skinamarink I thought was terrifying and great and just really
Also
harkened-
iconic, the entity in Skimmering.
It's like,
You think of like that phone.
I got you over there, Chauncey.
And then CW and Influencer was
We
such
all-
a good modern day villain.
Love CW.
very solid. I did like Influencer a lot.
I love Influencer.
And that's one where I voted for Ellie because I didn't vote for another thing, and I'm like, she really needs something. But I really also wanted to vote for CW because that movie just came out of nowhere. That I'm like, wow, this is
loved it.
just solid, and she is
Are
so good.
Are we a 4 out of 4 for we loved Influencer?
Yeah.
I wasn't
enjoyed
sure if
it.
you'd
Good, we
see
all
it.
love influencer.
It's
Yeah, I
just,
really
it's
enjoyed
really
it.
solid. It's such a good, fun, twisty movie, and it's all shot in very beautiful locations. So there's that aspect. It's
soundtrack,
like it's just
dude.
nice to look at. Yeah.
Best Supporting Actor, Joe Bird in Talk to Me, Grace Byers in The Blackening, Kyle Gallner in The Passenger, Marin Ireland in Birth Rebirth, Judah Lewis in Suitable Flesh, and Alyssa Sutherland in Evil Dead Rise, who won by a considerable margin. We were all in it for Deadite Mommy, and deservedly so.
We love Dead
Amazing
Mommy.
Did a
performance.
solid job. And
Did you vote? Who'd you vote for?
Marin.
Oh, okay,
From
nice.
Birth
Yeah,
Rebirth.
she got quite a few votes.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys were 2 of them. Great. I voted.
Marin is great. She's so good in that.
And
movie.
that's another one where both her and Kyle Gallner, it's debatable if they're supporting.
Yes.
It's her and Judy Reyes are like
Pretty much. I feel like that's co-leads.
They're
fully.
co-leads,
Yeah.
but it comes down to like, oh, we already have this many in leading, so like let's slot them into supporting to get them nominated. I felt bad that Judy Reyes didn't get a nomination, but like the leading category was super stacked. Supporting also stacked because of this, and yeah, it's really tough to determine supporting and leading even at the Oscars, because like this year Lily Gladstone I think is debatable whether she's lead or supporting. Anthony Hopkins won best lead for Silence of the Lambs, when I would say Hannibal is a supporting performance.
100%.
So it's tough, and sometimes these decisions are made as like, well, we want to nominate them, but this so that's how that worked out for us.
We're all humans. We're just trying to make this work.
Yeah. I vote for Alyssa.
I also voted.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So great.
Just because she was inspired by The Mask. I think
So
that is really weird and awesome.
I didn't know that, and I love it so
I'm
much.
Zoran, I'm obsessed with it because that's the coolest shit ever. As a kid who like would obsessively watch Jim Carrey movies and try to do impersonations of him, I'm like, I see myself in her. I get it. I understand that part of her brain who is like, this is what I'm going to do.
So we were the same person then growing up. Yeah, I was doing the exact same thing.
Yep.
Every single time.
SNL sketches as well.
Every single time that sound up of her being, open up now. I
up
laugh every time. I fucking love
It's
that
so
clip.
good.
Mia Goth was the most suggested for this that didn't get nominated. For Infinity Pool.
Oh, okay.
Yep. James. So obviously, I mean, she's always a great performance. She won our prime rib last year for Pearl. Right?
Yeah.
So we were like, all right, that I think was a minor factor of like, oh, we already nominated her for stuff. Other nominees include Jess McLeod. They were in It's a Wonderful Knife, and they were really good. They were a good part of that as like the friend.
Yes, she was the friend, and
and other people. There's just lots of nomination or suggestions. This was one where it was like Parker Posey for Bo's Afraid. Okay, so best lead actor, we had Melissa Barrera in Scream, Tobin in Saw, Caitlin Dever in No One Will Save You, Ryunosuke Kamiki in Godzilla -1, Sophie in Talk to
Sophie
Me.
Wilde.
Yes, and my thing got fucked up. Natalia Solian, who won in Wisera. So
I'm so curious to see how the stats for this category broke down.
Natalia won 5 votes, and then 2 others won 3.
Okay.
And you could probably guess which those 2 were. It was Tobin and Sophie. If I had an executive power of choosing one category where my choice won, it would be this one for Tobin Bell, who I voted for Saw. I wanted Tobin Bell to win this. So I love everyone in these roles, including Natalia. Fantastic performance. But the man is 80 years old, and just every time I watch Saw, I'm just moved by his performance in that. Just like, it's so vulnerable, and I feel like it's got to come from a place of truth of like, he's playing this character who is facing mortality, and like Tobin Bell is old, you know? He's 80 years old. He's probably thinking about this a lot, and it just, that comes through in this performance, and it feels so real, and like, I fucking loved it, and I just wish our panel liked Saw more, but they didn't.
Oh, I'm 100% on there. You check that. I voted for Tobin
Let me
Bell.
double check. This one's not a fucking liar.
I'm not a fucking liar this time.
I also voted for Tobin Bell.
So it was the 3 of us who voted for Tobin.
We all voted for Tobin Bell.
Who'd you vote?
Sophie.
Okay, yeah. Also another great choice.
And then when you hear the story of how they said they lost like $1 million and cast her, I mean, that's pretty
They wanted them to cast a
significant.
bigger name in their lead role.
And they picked Sophie because she was just such
they were
a
like,
standout.
we'll take the lower budget for the movie to take this actress who
And
we want.
That's incredible.
And that just
So
takes
cool.
guts
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
right? And they did. It's first time filmmakers in that regard to make that decision to be
have that
like, no, we're
confidence.
gonna stick with that, and
It's
it's
so
just
cool.
so great.
Natalia Solian
Yes.
is incredible.
Let's
We
not-
reviewed with Sarah on the podcast, so go check out that episode if you want to hear. Honestly, probably a long discussion. I think that's when we went over an hour to talk about all the themes in that movie, and it is always cool when obviously I basically only speak English. I speak little bits of other languages, but it is a very neat thing when a performance can transcend another language and like it reads and I totally get what's going on.
Yeah, same thing with Ryunosuke
Yes.
Kamiki from Godzilla.
Yes.
Another performance that transcends the language barrier.
Big
Because
time,
it's just
yeah.
so well done. Him and Natalia, just like fantastic. And I know that with Sarah is not going to be a movie for everyone. It's more cerebral, more of the quote unquote elevated.
There's some good scares in it though.
It does have good
Don't-
scares,
Like
yeah.
don't let the kind of more cerebral aspect of it turn you away from, because like there are some moments in that genuinely got me pretty good.
As a parent to be, there's
Yeah.
a very definite moment
I bet.
where they can't find the baby,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh no.
yeah, Jesus, oh my God.
No, is this gonna
Yeah.
happen to me? Am I gonna be so sleep deprived and things are gonna happen? I don't like this.
Yeah, so I don't want to undercut Natalia's
We're not gonna-
win.
no.
It was super well
No,
deserved.
God, yeah.
Everyone here, but just on the Tobin Bell, I want to say this year I did a whole Saw franchise marathon. Had the whole thing. People were there watching them
all
all
10,
day.
yeah.
And my friend's girlfriend showed up and she's watching. She's like, I can't be in this room with all of this stuff. Saw 10 came on. First 45 minutes, she's like, this is good.
Yeah.
She is solidly in this movie because of Tobin Bell's performance, everything. It's like a glorious drama indie movie. And then she starts sawing through, like, she's like, I'm going to go. I'm good. But, that transcends. So that, to me, was a performance that was just, like, connected. Just
It's
so
so funny because like part of I think why the Saw fandom is so dedicated is Tobin Bell.
yeah.
And I just keep thinking of this tweet by Joe from How to Wrestling, which is a fantastic podcast, and she was like, Saw fans are so funny because they'll just say something like, oh my God, he's so baby girl. And it's just a screenshot of John Kramer covered in his own blood. Like, but it's true. He is baby girl. He's so vulnerable. And you just, despite him being like the worst piece of shit ever, there's something about him.
Other suggestions included Judy Reyes, who, like I said, was great.
Yeah.
There was debate, I forgot to say, whether Alyssa Sutherland was leading or supporting. I felt supporting strongly
Yeah, because
because Lily Sullivan was lead.
Right.
Yeah, in my opinion.
yeah, that's another one it's tricky.
It's
to
tricky because she
lead,
has so much
'cause-
screen time and is so memorable.
And she's so again, that's why Anthony Hopkins most likely got lead for
Yes,
silent, because you
when they stand out,
remember
yeah.
Anthony
Yeah.
Hopkins and you're like, oh, he was only in there for like 20 minutes
Yeah.
or something like that.
But as far as like driving the story, I feel like that should be a factor.
Yeah.
And that was more Lily Sullivan's character.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa, fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, so was Caitlin. That's why they
Like,
all were
yeah,
nominated.
they're all-
This is a
Yeah.
fucking stacked
No,
category.
they're all. It's very hard to pick
Yeah.
between all of
Anyone
these.
could have won that, and it would have
Yeah.
been fine.
yeah.
Best director, we had Michelle Garza Cervera for Huesera, Lee Cronin for Evil Dead Rise, Brian Duffield for No One Will Save You, Gerard Johnstone for Megan, the Philippos for Talk to Me, and Damien Rugna for When Evil Lurks. This was close. I will say Philippos almost had it.
I voted for Philippos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you vote for?
When Evil Lurks.
Okay. Yep. Damien Rugna.
Go to the computer, James.
And Zorn voted for Damien Rugna. And you said if I could write in Joe Lynch for Suitable Flesh, you would.
Yeah.
You hear that, Joe? You hear that? I agree. I had just watched Suitable Flesh, and I was like, he did such a good job
Yes.
capturing this.
That style.
The
that
very
style, he captured it
specific tone.
Whether people like that tone is the other thing, but just like his capturing of it, I was like, yes, you nailed this perfectly.
And I think tone is a big reason why we chose Gerard Johnstone for nailing that campy tone of Megan
Yep.
and getting
Yeah.
everything
Oh,
in there.
yeah.
Lee Cronin for having, like he said, the gleeful horror and carnage of Evil Dead Rise, taking the gore from the 2013 remake, but like adding in
But the
more of the humor and
fun.
fun to
Yeah.
not make it just miserable.
That's why I loved Evil Dead. I like it. I like it a lot more than the other.
Oh, the subreddit will have your head
And the
for that.
23rd,
The horror
sorry.
subreddit loves the 2013
Well, I like
version.
how
That was depressing.
Yeah, I like how silly
Very
this
sad.
I still like 2013, but that's probably Jane Levy. She's
I love
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 Mia.
her.
it's hard to top.
I
on
like
Mia for me.
2013. I prefer the funness of Rise, but
Oh,
I still
yeah.
like 2013 a lot. Brian Duffield for No One Will Save You for making this movie that has no dialogue
Insane.
and just plotting all that out is fantastic. But yes, it ultimately went to Damien Rugna. Other suggestions, Brandon Cronenberg for Infinity Pool had
Sure.
a lot of suggestions. Laura Moss for Birth Rebirth. Another good, very performance-driven film.
I haven't watched so many pregnancy-related horror movies
Yes,
with
lots
my
of 'em.
pregnant wife over
Lots
here.
of 'em.
Yeah,
this
that was the
year.
thing is in the beginning of the award show, we have the thing where we're like, there's not an overarching kind of tone,
There's
but
a lot of pregnancy movie. Like,
kids and pregnancies
Yeah.
are all over this year's horror films.
that's so true. Like, Unwelcome.
yes.
But like that was a horror film this year.
Even When Evil Lurks and FNAF have like kids.
Yep.
Like you're centered
Yeah.
around
I
kids.
mean, yeah, Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah. So
As
that
children.
was a through line for 2023 horror is both like
That's
pregnancies and children. Which is
Fascinating,
interesting.
yeah.
Will be interesting to think about in retrospect. Maybe because we're coming out of this period of time, the COVID lockdowns, where we're like, did we fuck up the kids, or like were they fucked
are
up
we all
from all
worried
these
about
things?
kids?
Yeah,
because
and-
it's not the horror isn't evil children.
No.
it's stuff happening to kids.
Yeah.
That's so true.
or like how do we handle
Like
our pregnancy
Megan
and like
is
is
like,
like technology.
yeah, using technology to help deal with a child's shit that you don't want to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is. I didn't realize that until just now how much of a through line that is for all these.
Yeah.
But
Well, thanks for making me watch all these things. My pregnant
Yes,
wife was very far away from the TV
Yes.
at any point. I watched Who Sarah the Bone Woman on headphones while she was sleeping next to me.
That's fair.
oh, what'd you vote for, hon? You said Philippos?
I voted for the Philippos just because I think it's such a great ensemble cast in that movie.
Yeah.
And I just think you can tell how on the same page everyone was. And which is impressive because the actors are all pretty young. And it just feels like that set was very comfortable and they got such good performances out of all these actors. And I really believed that these kids were friends or at least close and knew each other well. And there was something so real about all of them at these little house parties together
Yes.
that felt real in like a fucked up way.
Uh-huh.
And I just, that's why I voted for the Philippos. I just think getting that kind of group performance is really cool.
And I voted for Gerard Johnstone because, like I said, I am just a little Megan slut, and I'm sorry. I fucking love that movie.
I mean, I love Megan.
And that tone worked so well for me.
Oh, I was in as soon as that movie opened with the fake commercial.
The fake commercial,
I was just
yeah.
like,
I was like,
I'm
oh,
in. This
yes.
this is my movie. It's made for me.
It's like the little doll that poops.
Poops, yeah, little pooping doll. So, best remake or sequel, there was the nominees were Godzilla -1, Evil Dead Rise, Hell House Origins, Saw X, Scream 6, and Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving controversial to
Oh
be in
my
this
God.
category. And listen, I
love getting yelled at by everyone for this. It was great. Thank you so much.
agree that it's an original film, but this is another one where we're massaging it. Original film, we had our 6 choices, and I thought Thanksgiving deserved to be nominated, and so we were like, okay, it was based on a short that had a theatrical release.
Correct.
That's the key.
Yes.
That's the key.
That
right
was our
there.
reasoning
There
because
are plenty of horror films such as Saw
and Smile.
Yeah, that are based on short films that existed before. But this short film, it's a trailer, was in a movie that was in theaters.
Like a wide mainstream
As
release.
different.
Like Machete was also spun off of that movie, so that's from Grindhouse.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what, that is the logic, whether it's perfect or not.
I'm
It's
this-
like,
I
is
did have
Barbie
to think for
adapted
a
or
second.
original screenplay? They went with adapted
Yeah.
because it was pre-existing IP.
I think
That's
it is
true,
adapted.
that's true.
I think anything
That's
pre-existing
true.
IP is adapted.
I'm sorry. I've been tense about it because I'm so fucking sick of people crying about it.
It's fine. You know, if it got nominated is the important thing. We celebrated it. It was a great slasher.
And I wouldn't even be like, oh no, Thanksgiving didn't get nominated. I'm sad. Honestly, I don't really care if Thanksgiving gets nominated. But like, you know, I don't know.
I'm on Team Chelsea for this one.
I don't.
Yeah.
I did have to think about it for a second because I didn't want to ask and be like, so why is this here? I didn't want to send that back. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to like try to figure it out. And then I thought, okay, there was a trailer, but does that count?
Yeah,
but I was
They
like, okay,
recreated
sure.
a bunch of things from it as well. Like they recreated scenes. They
The
twisted
kills,
them.
yeah.
Kills, some kills they twisted.
trampoline.
But other
The
ones they
trampoline one, yeah.
recreated for sure.
Godzilla won handily because
Yeah.
I mean, like Evil Dead, fantastic. Saw, they're all
It was
great movies, but like
tricky.
Godzilla.
But Godzilla, do any of these other movies make you want to like stand together with your fellow man in the spirit of hope and perseverance and love for your fellow human? I don't know.
I voted Godzilla. Would
Same.
You guys?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just.
Zoran?
There's just something about Godzilla.
I did not vote for Godzilla. I'll tell you that
Oh,
much.
I'm sorry. Do you not love the?
No, he said Saw. That's fine.
Okay.
I
You know
said
what?
Okay.
Saw because for me that transcended the genre, the sequel, like the 10th
Yes.
movie to be
That
one
much
of the
better?
best.
Yeah.
If not
like
the
it's
best,
on
yeah.
par of the originals, and it fits within there. That
Agreed.
the fact that it also transcended just people's expectation. Like it was a drama that I felt emotionally connected to, which I do not expect from a Saw movie to
Yeah.
be
Especially
emotionally connected.
this far
This
into
far,
it.
the 10th one.
I
in
think
there.
that's totally.
That's totally
That
fair.
is 100% why I voted for that one. But also, yes, Godzilla -1 is amazing.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I
And
was
Saw
just
is
like-
also again.
I'm
this
also
is,
not as much of a Godzilla fan
Sure.
as well. I'm a big Saw fan, so to see
Yeah.
that evolution.
See, it's weird because if I would say this feels so wrong to say, but if you asked me, I'd be like, no, I'm a Saw stan, and like
Yeah.
I've seen some Godzilla, so like I'm like a bigger Saw
Yeah.
fan, but. Yeah, I don't know. And again, this is when I turn into like everyone should get a trophy because they're all good.
Other suggestions. Some people said Malum, which was a remake of The Last Shift.
Okay.
And VHS 85. Some
That
people
was a
suggested.
solid entry.
There was some good, VHS 85 had some good, like the, what was it?
I like the one on stage.
I
Which
did
think
too,
was a
and
little
a lot of
divisive.
people,
Virtual reality one?
I
Yes.
liked it. It was weird
I thought it was
and kind of cool.
unsettling. Did you see VHS 85? Okay, yeah.
I think we both dug that segment a lot more than some
People
people
that came
did.
back to life were the one that I really liked, that they were all just camping, and then
You know
Oh.
what? The initial one, I was like,
the initial
that's-
one,
I was
the
like,
way
it's
that it
kind of
wraps
okay, but the way it
around
connects to the
rapid.
later
the
one.
connection was what I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's actually two. That's
Oh,
great.
and then fucking Derrickson and Cargill put
Yeah.
out this like fully realized could be its
It
own
could
movie.
be, this
short
magical VHS tape
It's
thing.
fucking
It's cool.
great.
I
That
was-
segment alone lifts that movie up so much.
the fact that they got them for a VHS movie, like the 6th VHS movie or
Yeah.
whatever, like, oh, I could bring in Sky to Sinister, and yeah, let's bring it in
And
there.
it's very sinister like.
Yeah.
It is. I do hope that he gets a little away from the old footage stuff that
I
seems to be in
fucking
every
love it.
single
Keep it
one.
coming. Keep it coming,
right.
man. It's awesome. And then finally, best original film. Every single one of these movies got a vote, at least. So it was
Sure.
Sarah, the Bone Woman, Influencer, Megan, Skinamarink, Talk to Me, and When Evil Lurks. So When Evil Lurks did not like blow out the other ones like it did in some other
So
categories.
this category
it was very
wasn't
close.
When Evil Sweeps for this category.
It won, but it
It won,
didn't
but
sweep.
yes,
it
it
was
wasn't-
like Talk to Me was a vote away from tying with it.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
Talk to
okay.
Me was. And
I
Talk to
was
Me,
torn between
Yeah, Talk
those
to Me
two.
did win the fan favorite, which I would have bet a fucking digit would be FNAF.
I was
Same.
so
I'm
surprised.
Which is why I saw the disconnect. I was like, all these people, Dolph does protest too much because y'all were in the chat, but you clearly didn't vote.
I guess not. Yeah.
It's so weird. It's like, is it similar to the weird phenomenon of everyone pretends that they hate Avatar movies,
But if
we
they
all
still go see
them,
it,
everyone
no
hates
cultural
them. We all
relevancy.
love 'em.
Exactly.
We all love them, and they're gonna make 17
Yes,
more.
they
and
are.
we're
The
gonna
fire
watch them.
people are next.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait.
Dude, we're
go
I'm
openly
ready.
Mario levels.
I'm ready.
we are
love it.
openly Avatar
Yes,
fans
Chelsea
in
and
this
I
house.
love
I'll be
Avatar.
there day one.
Same.
Fucking love it.
Yeah, so When Evil Lurks won. Talk to Me was close. I voted, like I said, Megan.
Okay.
Zoran, you voted Influencer.
I did.
I'm
I wanted
glad-
to give something to Influencer. I knew it was probably a throwaway vote, basically, at that point. I'm like, you know.
That was your third party vote.
One of these other. That was my third party vote.
That was your Vermin Supreme vote.
Yeah.
Chelsea, what'd you say?
I voted Talk to Me.
Ooh, okay.
But it's interesting because I genuinely could not remember what I voted for
It's a
before
tough
you
one.
gave me my paper to look at. I think I was torn between Talk to Me and When Evil Lurks. And I think Talk to Me I voted for just because in terms of like overall how good it is and just I don't know, there's something about like a horror movie that comes up with a unique visual, like The Hand, you know, something that I always like, where
Yeah.
it's something that like you have an instant thing you remember from a horror movie, that fucking hand. I don't know, just it just hit all the right things for me, so I voted for it. But literally, you ask me the next day, and I could have voted for something else.
Yeah.
Chauncey?
I did When Evil Lurks.
Okay.
That one just, and you know the thing is, I was kind of avoiding watching that movie for a bit. And when I finally just sat down and saw it and it finished, I was just like, I'm so disturbed.
Yeah, it's
And I was
powerful.
just like, this is really good, though.
Created an amazing world and lore. And
Yes.
that's what I
Without
loved
spoon
about
feeding it to
Exactly.
you.
No.
You just kind of piece it together of what
And it all
this
was like,
world
this is very interesting. And then it's this, you know, we got a plague thing, but it's evil, and it's like, these are the rules, and they're following these rules, and there's amazing effects, and it's just good.
And once it gets
performances.
going, it is just
yeah,
nonstop.
it's just like, oh, we're
like-
still going. Okay.
Yeah, it was such a fresh take on the like exorcism type thing, the possession type aspect of it, which, you know, it's when you see something fresh, that's really great.
Yeah, it's both a disease movie and an exorcist movie without religion involved, which is interesting. It's
Yeah.
more like,
it's very explicitly
pandemic
not
possession.
religious. There's the woman in that who's like, yeah, I basically was a charlatan who told people that this was religious and I made money off of it and I am a bad person, but now I'm here trying to explain how this works to you. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other suggestions for this, Infinity Pool had a lot. No One Will Save You, a
Yep.
lot, which
Yeah.
that one
It's-
was real close.
Yeah.
Like we said, Totally Killer. That was
I'm so sad
suggested.
Totally Killer
Oh yeah,
got
I
one.
forgot that throughout all of these, a lot of the categories, Poor Things was suggested to us.
That's not a horror movie.
I don't
I
feel-
debated that. See, I was
See?
gonna
Okay.
write that in, and then
Interesting.
because I think I did write in
It is a
Beau is Afraid, and I
Frankenstein-esque
did do
tale.
Poor Things, and I just thought there's something very terrifying about the condition of women, and so I thought like that
Yeah.
theme is
Sure.
that makes a lot of sense. Like there's some scary situations here, but I guess it's like the idea of like. What is, I mean, of course, like this is like some big ended, like what is horror? Like, you know,
Let's find out right now. Let's all just, let's get ready.
but I just thought
Figure it
I did debate writing that in. I almost sent it
Interesting.
because I was like, okay, maybe Poor Things.
Yeah, I would never consider it horror. I fucking loved it.
I
I
loved
love
it.
it.
but
I loved it too.
feels more comedy, like fairy tale. Like
It's
there's
a-
so
it's
many
a-
things
yeah.
I feel before the
Sure.
horror. Like there was anything that felt like the overall idea. Like I see what you're saying. It's scary and what the messages and things that they're doing there. But like in the, it's
Yeah, I
gosh.
see. It's like parable or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
cautionary tale.
Like just all the things she goes through
Yeah.
in that film. It was just like with the tone, of course, it wasn't as overtly terrifying, but when you really think about what they were, I'm like, this is kind of, you
Yeah.
know. So I think in that sense.
And The Blackening had a bunch of suggestions too,
Oh, yeah.
which I loved The Blackening, but
We did a podcast episode on The Blackening with Prince Jackson, so check that out if you want to hear more about that.
Yeah,
movie.
that's one that's
he
like-
also was on the panel.
loved that movie. Just didn't fit in with all these other 6 that we picked, but I don't know. Did you see it?
Yes.
Did you like it?
I liked it.
Yeah.
It was solid.
I thought it was
liked
very
it.
funny. And I've,
It's
I've,
a good
alone over
summer
here.
movie.
I've considered having funniest as a
like horror.
category.
Like a horror
Like
comedy.
funniest horror movie. Because like comedy is so
You want to make
integral
things
to
even more subjective.
Yeah, but like, I mean, like Megan is
Megan's
hilarious.
funny.
I appreciate when horror can be funny, even when it's not an outright horror comedy.
Yeah.
You know, not like
Yeah.
a parody spoof movie. I don't know if that would have a place in these awards, but I've considered it.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
I'll
obviously,
figure
The
it out.
Blackening would have
I'll
been in
figure
there.
it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll present that one.
Some movies were suggested in various categories that we didn't get a chance to see. El Conde, did anyone see that? I
Oh yeah, based on the Dictator on Netflix.
is it Nicaragua?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's Nicaragua.
I heard that was very good.
He was playing like kind of a vampire, playing on like the Count.
Yeah,
that's why
I bet we would like it a lot if we watched it. We didn't get around to it.
Very like a kind of horror historical.
Interesting.
On his regime, because he was crap, that dictator. So it was just like a play on like if he had been a vampire.
One of them good dictators?
No, unfortunately not.
It's really.
I heard Tiger Stripes was good. Perpetrator. Like there were so many.
Do you know how many movies come out?
Yeah,
this is insane.
And a lot of them
Moon
are. There were a lot of suggestions that were like festival only.
They haven't had wide releases yet, so
Okay.
they were disqualified because we want the audience to have been able to see them.
Right.
So maybe next year some of those will be. And for our panel next year, I'd like to maybe try to diversify it a little in terms of what kinds of fans and critics we grab. Because this year, everyone on our panel was fantastic. Love them all. I do think we pulled from a similar pool with them because a lot of it was film festival.
Like film critics or like people who do analysis and are,
Which is great, but I
Yes.
think there should also be other voices included alongside them, which is, maybe why some of like When Evil Lurks swept so much because it feels like a very cerebral kind of film festival movie. And like, I'm not taking away any of its wins. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
We just talked about how fresh it was, but I know that some people watching were probably like, I've never heard of this. What about these movies I've heard of? You take any group of people and they're all going to have their own biases and just predilections. Is that right?
predilections.
Yeah, towards a certain type of horror film. And I think that this year we happened to grab a bunch of people who maybe had the same or similar tastes in horror. So maybe, I don't know where to go. This is our first year doing it. So no.
And it's just, we are also very immersed in the world of horror.
Yeah.
So we're looking for something that surprises us and think like that kill in there was one of the first visceral reactions in When Evil Lurks.
Yeah.
That I'm like, it's very hard to get me to react to a movie. And a kill got, I'm like, done. You surprised me. I did not expect that. I will remember you as a movie
Like,
because
we're so
I had a visceral.
desensitized.
We're so
Yeah.
desensitized.
Yeah.
So there are some things that it's harder to appreciate.
Right.
Because we're so in the weeds of it and going like, oh, you did something different, so we like that. But there's some things that do the same thing, but also do a better job of it.
Yeah.
And I think you want to make sure also that Saw 11 has a better chance.
That's right, yeah.
Next time.
That would be, the panelists will be decided by if they like Saw.
you like
Gonna be
Saw.
stalking their Twitter.
Yes,
I don't
we will
know,
be
not
looking
him,
at
not
everyone.
this person.
We'll see what you said.
Nominate Shawnee's wig.
Yeah,
Nominate
we need a
Shawnee's wig.
special award.
Special award. Lifetime achievement for Shawnee's wig.
Yeah, we'll definitely have production design. I don't know if we'll have any other, because remember, every new category we add is so much more work.
Yep.
Finding the nominees, editing those pods, do all that
Getting
research.
a presenter. Yes.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's its own thing.
Making sure Zorn doesn't mispronounce every single name.
Huge thanks to all those presenters we got. Fantastic
yeah.
lineup
So much
this
fun
year.
this year.
Some really fun, like Jack with the paint was so funny.
I want to know what won. What
I
won? Did we see
wonder-
the
we
Dark
should-
Green won the poll,
Dark
Jack.
Green.
That's
with
what I voted for.
55%. That's
We
what
need to
I
ask
voted
him
too.
if he chose before
Yeah.
this.
Will he abide by the results of this
Right.
poll?
I hope he does. I hope he posts a picture of his
'Cause
forest green room.
Because we had nearly 4,000 people voted, Jack.
Wow.
And Dark Green won
I voted
55%.
for dark green. I
Yep.
love a dark green.
Yeah.
Very foresty.
painting.
But hopefully you guys enjoyed them as much as we did. It's the thing I'm most proud of on the channel. I think
Yeah.
it best encapsulates what we try to do is just celebrate horror films and the making of them, the people
Yeah.
behind them.
Also, damn, that straw in my cup was long.
She had a long straw.
I don't know why.
My guess is that it wasn't pushed down all the way.
It must
that it was just
not
like
have
popped
been.
in and then mostly was out, but
It's so funny how no one noticed it.
on set, yeah.
We're just thinking about other shit, but I love it.
Oh, at the beginning of mine, something that wasn't noticed in the first take, my glasses are transition lenses and had not transitioned. So in the beginning of my takes, I had sunglasses
Fuck
on,
yeah.
standing in here going, like, fan favorite movie awards.
Yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, thanks to everyone who made it and participated and
you
watched it.
Yeah.
And tune in for Production Tales on Sunday.
Yeah.
First episode's Poltergeist.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, it's good. I watched it.
First time Poltergeist is on the channel.
No.
Just
Yep.
anywhere?
No, we've talked about it on the pod, but like we haven't
It
done
didn't have its own podcast
Yeah, it didn't have a
episode,
dedicated episode.
but it was discussed in like
many episodes, like
Cursed and
Creepy Kids.
Yeah.
All that.
It's solid. Poltergeist.
Great movie. Yeah. But check that out. And I'm just real proud of this year so far. On Dead Meat.
Also, Dead Meat Podcast live show coming up soon.
Yes.
Let me make sure I have the date right here because this is the
think
first
it's
time
April
I'm
14th.
promoting on the podcast. April 14th, Detroit, Michigan.
Baby, our first show had to be in Detroit.
Yes, we're
at the Masonic
at the
Temple.
Masonic Temple, which is exciting. The Masonic Temple is a beautiful building. It is the largest Masonic temple on the planet.
Wow.
Yes, I'm so excited to be doing a show there. We're going to be talking about The Crow. So we're going to be talking about this weird version of Detroit that's definitely not Detroit, but that's fine. So wear your best goth outfits and come see us. And I'll post a link in the description where you can buy tickets and
It's on
whatnot.
Axis.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, check that out. Lots to look forward to this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, until I mean Dead Meat James on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah, I'm at Carebeck, CareBcc on Twitter and Instagram. If you want merch, deadmeatstore.com. Zoran, social media?
Low carb comedy on everything. LOWCARBCOMEDY. That's how you spell comedy.
Yes.
And Miss Chauncey K on Instagram, MS Chauncey K.
Great.
Cool.
Love it. Thank you both so much.
Yeah, so glad
for
to have you guys
joining
join us.
Yeah.
I realized all of us picked a different film for best original, I think.
Oh, really? What was it?
Saw?
I-
No. Best original. Sorry, influencer.
And I did Talk to Me. You
And
did
Megan.
Megan, and you did
When Evil Lurks.
When Evil
Oh,
Lurks.
That's so exciting.
That
I just had
shows-
to point it out before we end the show.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much, and we will see you next time. This
Yeah.
has been the
Dead
Dead
Meat
Meat
Podcast.
Podcast.